Hey, this is Montrose Makerspace today for March 17th, 2015. If you've just joined us because you received an email about our call for action to get the doors open, uh, welcome. I record this video every day. I do it, typically I do it after I walk my dogs at night and just before I go to bed, which I'm about to do now. So it's about 11 o'clock, I think. Yeah, it's about 11 o'clock. We're getting ready to go. So what happened today? I worked on generating that email. I had 4 people helping me. We sent out we generated the content. We put it in the constant contact. We reviewed that. We revised a couple things. Then I went through all the contact us data that's come in from the website, and I imported it into our database. Shoved all those addresses into the constant contact, and we sent that email out to 153 people. So that's our request to come in and help us in 3 different areas. First area is facility safety, because we need to make the facility safe, figure out where we need to move things, if we need to put in walls, if we need to put in barricades, tape on the floor, that kind of thing. That's one area. The next area is the basic operation and safety instructions for the first 6 classes we're going to teach. And then the final area is volunteer coordination, as well as finding volunteers. We're a nonprofit organization. We're just doing a startup, so we're going to have to run on volunteer hours. Our hours of operation, we like them to be 3 to 11 p.m. during the weekdays and all day Saturday and Sunday. We can't really open the doors until we have people to monitor the makerspace, and they're going to check things like, you have a valid membership, are you trained on the equipment you're trying to use, those kind of things, answer the phone. So we need to find all these people. It's about 60 hours a week we need to find volunteer staff for, so we can open. If we can't find the volunteer staff for that, we'll have to have abbreviated hours, which we don't want to do initially. So if you can help us out with any of that stuff, just go back on our website. There's a sign up form in the email at the bottom. It says that you want to help. There's 4 dates. It's going to be this coming Sunday, which is, I think it's the 22nd, followed by the Thursday, by the Sunday, and then by the Thursday. I want to hammer out all these details, and after we get all that stuff done, we're going to open the doors and let the makers come in, take their membership, and we'll be blowing and going. So if you have any time, we would really appreciate you coming by and give us a hand. So I worked on that this morning up until about noon, I think. Shoot, man, I've either been on the phone, I've been texting, video conferencing, writing. I just basically sit in this chair from about 8:30 up until right now, but at noon at 11 o'clock. So there's a couple more things that kind of happened. I talked to 2 of my previous customers about developments, and one of them I haven't worked with for a couple of years, and we talked about the state of technology changing and how things are getting developed now, and how it's kind of completely different from what was getting done 2 years ago. And we started talking about the Raspberry Pi 2. This is a board that came out from the Raspberry Pi Foundation in England. It came out about the second version. The Raspberry Pi 2 came out about a month ago, and it kind of looks like this. So it's this is an embedded Linux board. You can buy this right now at a couple different places online for $35. This is a rocking board. I've been using this for about a week now, and it's significantly different than the previous versions of this. They switched the microprocessor over to an ARM7. It's a quad-core ARM7, and it has a gigabyte of RAM. It runs off an SD card. So for $35, you can get a full distribution of Linux going, and it has 4 USB ports, an Ethernet port, audio, video, and then inside of here you can run a camera as well as a flat panel display. And over here you have your SD card. This you can actually run Debian on or Ubuntu directly right off of this board. You weren't able to do that on previous versions. You had to run a specially compiled version of Debian called Raspbian, but you don't have to do that anymore. This thing boots up in about 15 seconds. It's awesome. So we talked a little bit about that with my customer, and we're going to definitely offer a class on doing development as well as projects with the Raspberry Pi. Because for $35, you can get a completely full, basically a PC with an HDMI output to run a 1080p display. You can get this for $35, or you can get this one for about $20. This is an Arduino. This is a clone. I got this from China for about $10. But you got an Arduino versus a Raspberry Pi. The functionality between the two is quite enormous. So this guy is awesome. So I'm kind of pushing this on to customers to consider using this as opposed to doing a custom layouts for their own embedded systems, because they can just buy this off the shelf right now, and it runs great. And the open source community has actually created, thousands of projects using a Raspberry Pi, and the source code's available, and it's well documented, and you can go out and read about how people are actually using this. So we're kind of pushing this thing. And then I had a conversation with another customer that I haven't worked with in about 10 years, probably more than that. I don't know. About 15 years. So he wanted to kind of know about the state of technology from a Bluetooth perspective. So I kind of gave him an update on where TI stands on the Bluetooth front, because I've been doing a lot of work with TI on Wi-Fi stuff for their embedded ARM processors that have Wi-Fi in there, or Ethernet Max in the parts. So I just, I think last week or about 2 weeks ago, I talked about this thing. This is a TI sensor tag. This is a product that you can buy now. This is a development kit for a 2550 or 2650 ARM processor that has a Bluetooth radio built into it. And this particular thing runs on a coin cell battery, and they estimate that this is going to run for about 2 years on that coin cell battery, going on and off and doing low power management for this thing. This is an awesome part. But this came out about 3 weeks ago, and so you can't do any development work. This has an application actually embedded onto it, so you can turn it on and see if I can turn it on here. Let me figure out how to turn it on. Well, whatever. So you can turn it on, and I'm not pressing the button right. Oh, this is the button. I don't know what's going on. There we go. So you turn it on, and it broadcasts out using a BLE. You can download an app for iOS or Android and actually connect to this thing, and it has an accelerometer and a magnetometer, a barometer, temperature gauge, a bunch of other stuff to kind of get a feel of how this thing actually works. That's from that's the off-the-shelf firmware that came on this thing. But to really do development, you need a development kit, and those are really hard to come by initially. There's a lot of these available, but the development kits aren't available just yet. They will be because TI wants to sell those processors, but I basically begged and pleaded TI to send me one, and I got this a couple of days ago. This is the development kit that actually kind of plugs into here, and then with this and TI's Code Composer, I can compile code for this and actually run my application. Now, why is that important from the Makerspace perspective? Is we have two products in active development currently right now. One of them is in the maintenance industry, and the other one is in the solar industry. And each one of those products is actually going to use one of these processors that's going to use a 2640 part. So we're going to incorporate this into our set of tools that we can develop with over at the Makerspace. So that's a great thing to be able to take advantage of the connections I have at TI to further our development activities at the Makerspace. What else did I do? Oh, I had a conversation with the developer in Hawaii on this solar project, and he and I got a got a Hangouts going. And I haven't used the Hangouts until yesterday when I recorded yesterday's Makerspace today. So I said, look, I'm tired of just talking on the phone. We need a shared whiteboard, and let's just do it on Hangouts. And so we got on the phone tonight around 8 o'clock, which is about 4 o'clock his time. We talked for a couple hours about his product development that he wants to do. And we got things straightened out. He kind of informed me about the vision of his product, and it's really quite unique. So the Hangouts thing is awesome. If you haven't used it before, you really should look into doing it. You can incorporate a lot of different aspects, and it's very interactive. So that conversation went on for a couple hours. Then I ended up talking to Kern a little bit about his day at around 10, and I got done with all that. And then the email blast went out at 10:30 tonight. So if you got that, please consider coming in and giving us a hand. We really could use it because we're really purely running on volunteer hours, and we've been making slow progress on everything every day. But so much stuff is going on at the Makerspace that we're kind of sharing priorities with getting open. If we can just go through these last 3 things and clear up a couple of extra items, then we're ready to open the doors. So if you're new to watching this thing, I try to get these things as short as I can. But some days they're just so busy that I could just talk for a long time and give updates on that. This wasn't particularly busy. I worked pretty much all day on Makerspace stuff. Now tomorrow, we're firing it up bright and early. I got to go over there and return some phone calls from contacts that came in off the website as well as off the phone line. I got like 3 phone calls today of various things that are needed. And then at 10 o'clock, the Montrose Newcomers group is coming over for as part of their monthly tour. They're going to tour the Makerspace. That's at 10 o'clock. At 11 o'clock, we have the Goal Academy coming down, and they're going to talk with Chuck about how to incorporate the Makerspace into the Goal Academy's curriculum. And then at about 11:30, Ross and Bill and I are going to drive up to Delta and have lunch with Brigitta from CMU and discuss the bringing of the offering a machining class through CMU and Western Community College there at the Makerspace in September. And then I have 2 more meetings scheduled in the afternoon over at the Makerspace. So it's busy, and it's just only going to get busier. So that's what I got for today. This is Montrose Makerspace today for March 17th, 2015. Thanks for watching.